In life, when you're confident you made a decision freely, only to realize later that you were guided, nudged, or subtly pushed. Maybe you bought something you didn't need, agreed to something you weren't fully sure about, or felt pressured to say yes, even when your mind whispered no. Most people think persuasion happens only in big decisions, sales, interviews, negotiations. But the truth is, you are being influenced every single day, in quiet and invisible ways. And the biggest struggle? You don't always notice when it's happening. You might feel overwhelmed by social pressure, distracted by trends, or unsure why you sometimes follow the crowd even when you want to choose differently. You may wonder why saying no feels difficult, why certain people manipulate your emotions so easily, or why you get convinced by arguments that aren't even logical. These hidden forces shape your thinking, your behavior, and even your identity. If you ever felt controlled, confused, emotionally drained, or simply unable to understand why you react the way you do, this is the book that helps you break that cycle. Robert Cialdini reveals the 6 universal principles of persuasion that influence your decisions without your awareness. And once you understand them, you don't just protect yourself, you gain the power to influence your own world with confidence, clarity, and integrity. Welcome to Top Summary, where you learn from successful people, transform your life, and see your growth unfold. If you're new here, we bring you inspiring book summaries and practical lessons to help you grow faster and live better. Before we dive deep, let's understand why this book matters so much today. We live in a world overflowing with information, advertisements, opinions, and social expectations. Every second, someone is trying to grab your attention or shape your choices. Cialdini's work gives you the tools to recognize these forces, make better decisions, and influence others ethically. The book is not just about persuasion. It's about awareness, control, and freedom in a world full of subtle pressure. The first major idea Cialdini discusses is the principle of reciprocity. At its core, it means humans feel obligated to return favors, gifts, or gestures. This rule exists in every culture, and it's so powerful that it can override logic. Think about a simple moment. Someone offers you help, gives you a small gift, or does something kind. Before you know it, you feel a subtle pressure to give something back. You don't want to feel ungrateful, so you act, sometimes against your better judgment. This principle is why free samples in stores work so well. A tiny taste of a product makes people feel a sense of duty, even if they never intended to buy anything. Or consider a colleague who helps you with a task. Later, you feel compelled to assist them, even if your schedule is tight. The action feels voluntary, but the psychological force behind it is strong. Cialdini explains that this feeling is deeply rooted in human evolution. Cooperation kept us alive, so reciprocity became automatic behavior. To apply this principle consciously, understand that people respond positively to genuine kindness. If you're a student, helping someone with notes or explaining a concept builds trust and goodwill. As a professional, doing something thoughtful, even something small, strengthens relationships and opens doors for collaboration. Entrepreneurs can use it ethically by providing value upfront, giving practical advice, offering resources, or sharing insights without expecting immediate returns. The key is authenticity. When the gesture is pure, the influence is natural. Transitioning from reciprocity, Cialdini introduces the principle of commitment and consistency, another powerful force shaping our behavior. Once we commit to something publicly, even in the smallest way, we naturally feel compelled to stay consistent with that commitment. Humans don't like to appear inconsistent, It feels uncomfortable, even embarrassing. Imagine promising yourself you'll start exercising. The moment you write it down or mention it to a friend, your likelihood of following through increases dramatically. Not because the task became easier, but because consistency feels necessary to maintain your self-image. This principle is used everywhere. When websites ask you to answer a simple yes or no question, that first micro-commitment increases the chances you'll agree to the next step. When someone asks, "Do you support education for children?" and you say, "Yes," you've already taken the first psychological step, making you more likely to donate later. In daily life, you can use this principle for self-growth. If you want to build a habit, start with a small commitment. If you want to improve your discipline, make a simple promise to yourself and track it. Professionals can use this by encouraging teams to commit to small goals. Entrepreneurs can use it by helping customers take tiny steps before asking for bigger ones. The magic lies in starting small, because small commitments lead to big changes. Now imagine a moment where these two principles come together. Someone gives you something and then asks for a favor. Or someone gets you to commit to something small, then builds on it slowly. This is persuasion working silently, shaping your decisions step by step. As we move deeper into the psychological foundations of influence, remember this: knowledge is your shield. When you recognize these forces, you become more mindful and more powerful. Instead of reacting unconsciously, you respond intentionally. Before we continue to the next powerful principle of persuasion, take a moment to reflect. How many decisions in your life were shaped by reciprocity or by your desire to stay consistent? How often have you said yes because of a tiny earlier commitment? Awareness begins the moment you ask these questions. And now, let's continue to the next insight. But before that, a quick reminder. If you enjoy our top summaries and storytelling, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this with someone who might need it today. We've got some bonus action items for you at the end, so keep listening. Now, let's get back to the summary. The next major force Cialdini reveals is social proof, the tendency to copy the actions of others when we feel uncertain. Imagine walking into a new restaurant and seeing a long line outside. Without tasting the food, you assume it must be good. Or consider how often you check reviews before buying something. Humans naturally look to others when unsure. This instinct kept our ancestors safe. If the group avoided something, it was probably dangerous. Today, it drives trends, decisions, and behaviors more than we realize. You see social proof at work everywhere. Trending content, bestseller lists, viral posts, crowded stores, popular opinions. Even laughter tracks in sitcoms use this principle. Hearing others laugh makes you more likely to laugh. For students, seeing others study motivates you to work harder. For professionals, watching others learn new skills pushes you to stay updated. Entrepreneurs use testimonials, reviews, and case studies because they reduce doubt and increase trust. To apply this principle wisely, surround yourself with people whose behavior you want to mirror. Your environment silently shapes your actions. If you want discipline, stay near disciplined people. If you want growth, stay near learners. If you want courage, stay near people who take action. Social proof can either uplift your life or trap you, depending on who influences you. As you continue to understand how influence works, the next force that shapes human decisions is the principle of authority. People tend to follow the lead of those who appear knowledgeable, credible, or powerful. This instinct is ancient. For thousands of years, survival depended on listening to experts. The leader who knew where water was, the healer who knew which herbs to use, the elder who had witnessed past dangers. We are wired to trust authority because it reduces uncertainty. But in today's world, authority is often created artificially. Titles, uniforms, professional language, or even confident tone can make someone appear far more knowledgeable than they are. Cialdini's research shows that humans obey authority figures even when it contradicts their own judgment. Something as simple as a doctor's white coat, a manager's confident instruction, or an expert's calm voice can override doubt. Think about how often you take advice from someone simply because they seem experienced. For example, in a workplace meeting, if one knowledgeable person agrees with an idea, the entire room often shifts. Their confidence creates a direction everyone follows. Or consider a student preparing for exams. When a teacher recommends a strategy, the student rarely questions it. Authority gives a sense of safety, even if the advice isn't perfect. To use this principle ethically, become someone who speaks from knowledge instead of guessing. If you're a student, mastering the fundamentals makes others naturally respect your insights. If you're a professional, sharing verified information builds credibility. Entrepreneurs can use authority by showing certifications, genuine expertise, case studies, or transparent experience. But authority becomes dangerous when used manipulatively. When someone pretends to know more than they do, or uses their position to pressure others into agreement. The key is balance. Respect real expertise, question false authority, and build your own credibility through clarity and skill. Flowing from authority, Cialdini introduces the principle of liking. You are more likely to say yes to someone you like, and people like those who are similar, genuine, warm, and appreciative. This is why friendships form quickly when there is shared interest. It's why compliments disarm defensiveness. It's why people trust those who listen well and make them feel valued. Liking works silently. If someone makes you feel seen, understood, or respected, you naturally become more open to their suggestions. Think about small moments. When someone uses your name, when they mirror your tone, when they share similar experiences, or when they truly listen without interrupting. These tiny gestures build emotional connection. For students, friends who encourage and appreciate your strengths influence your confidence. For professionals, colleagues who are approachable and positive become natural leaders. For entrepreneurs, showing genuine care for customers builds loyalty far stronger than any advertisement. But Cialdini warns that the principle of liking can also be exploited. Someone may compliment you excessively, mimic your preferences, or create artificial familiarity to influence you. Recognizing this helps you trust your judgment instead of being swayed by charm. And when you apply liking ethically, the goal is simple. Treat people with warmth, sincerity, and respect. Influence becomes natural when people feel you genuinely care. The next force is scarcity, one of the most powerful motivators in human psychology. When something becomes limited, exclusive, or rare, its value increases instantly. If time is running out, you take action. If an opportunity seems rare, you pay more attention. Scarcity creates urgency, and urgency reduces hesitation. Think about how people rush during sales, limited time offers, or last seats available. Even in everyday moments, scarcity shapes decisions. Whether it's choosing the final spot in a class, applying for a competitive role, or valuing someone who suddenly becomes less available. Cialdini explains that scarcity works because humans hate missing out. Loss feels more painful than gain feels rewarding. This is why only a few left, limited availability, or ending soon triggers immediate action. For students, Scarcity appears when deadlines approach. Suddenly productivity rises. For professionals, scarce opportunities like promotions or limited projects push them to perform better. For entrepreneurs, scarcity can be used ethically by offering limited batches, early bird openings, or exclusive benefits. But it becomes manipulative when scarcity is fake, when someone pretends that something is limited to force quick decisions. To control the impact of scarcity on your life, pause when you feel rushed. Ask yourself, do I want this because it's valuable or because it's disappearing? Once you separate desire from urgency, your decisions become clearer and more intentional. When you look at these principles together, authority, liking, and scarcity, you start to see the psychological map of influence. Every day, these forces operate in the background. The expert whose confidence convinces you, the person you like who shapes your choices, the opportunities that feel urgent simply because they might disappear. Awareness gives you power. Understanding gives you control. And as you absorb these insights, the emotional arc becomes clear. Influence is not about manipulation. It is about understanding how humans behave so you can protect yourself and use these principles in ways that support your own growth and the well-being of others. Take a moment to reflect on your own experiences. Think of a time you agreed to something because you trusted someone's authority. Remember moments when someone's warmth made you more open. Recall decisions you made in urgency because something felt limited. All of these experiences reveal how deeply these principles shape your life. As we move forward in this audiobook, the final part will help you combine these principles, apply them with emotional awareness, and build a strong inner foundation. You'll learn to influence ethically, resist manipulation, and make decisions based on clarity instead of pressure. As these principles settle into your awareness, you begin to see the world differently. You notice how people ask for favors, how opportunities are presented, how experts speak, how crowds behave, and how emotions shape decisions. Cialdini's greatest gift isn't just explaining the psychology behind influence. It is helping you reclaim control over your choices. When you know the rules, you stop being unconsciously influenced and you start influencing your own life with intention. Before we reach the final actions, let's bring all 6 principles together in a clear, grounded way. Not as a list, but as a flow of understanding you can feel and use. The first principle, reciprocity, teaches that humans respond to kindness with a natural urge to return it. So when someone gives you something, time, help, value, appreciation, you feel responsible to give something back. This force is deeply human, but it becomes powerful when you use it consciously. Giving value without expectation builds trust. Offering genuine help creates influence rooted in sincerity, not pressure. The second principle, commitment and consistency, shows that even the smallest promise can shape big decisions. Once you declare something, even privately, you feel compelled to follow through. This can trap you if used against you, but it becomes a superpower when you use it for growth. Tiny commitments turn into habits. Small steps turn into transformations. The third principle, social proof, reveals that when you're uncertain, you naturally follow the crowd. You look at others to decide what's right. This instinct can mislead you, but it can also guide you if you choose the right people and environments. Your surroundings become your direction. The fourth principle, authority, shows how easily humans trust confidence, titles, and expertise. True authority educates. False authority manipulates. When you build your own knowledge, you gain the quiet influence of someone who doesn't need to force anything. People trust you naturally. The fifth principle, liking, reminds you that people say yes to people they feel connected to. Genuine warmth, respect, and appreciation open hearts. Manipulative charm closes them. Influence rooted in sincerity lasts longer than influence gained through performance. And the final principle, scarcity, reveals how your brain reacts to loss more strongly than gain. When something feels limited, you act faster. Scarcity creates urgency, but urgency can cloud judgment. Recognizing this gives you the power to choose without pressure. Together, these 6 principles form a map of human behavior. A map that explains why you act, why you hesitate, why you trust, why you buy, why you follow, and why you say yes. Now let's shift this knowledge into action. Because a summary is only powerful when it becomes transformation. If you want to use reciprocity to improve your life, start giving value in small ways. Offer help before asking for it. Share knowledge freely. Appreciate people genuinely. When you give authentically, influence naturally follows you. And when you receive something, pause before reacting. Ask yourself whether your response is gratitude or pressure. This awareness protects you from manipulation. To apply commitment and consistency, begin with one small promise every day. Tell yourself you will study for 10 minutes, walk for 5 minutes, learn one new skill, or take one small step toward your goals. Say it out loud or write it somewhere visible. Small commitments create identity. Identity shapes behavior, and behavior creates your future. To use social proof for growth, choose your environment wisely. Surround yourself with people who reflect the direction you want to grow in. If you want discipline, stay near disciplined people. If you want ambition, stay near dreamers who take action. And when you feel pressured because everyone is doing it, step back. Ask if the crowd is moving with wisdom or just momentum. To apply authority, become a student of your craft. Learn deeply. Read more. Practice more. Share what you know without arrogance. When you speak from true understanding, authority becomes effortless. And when someone else claims authority, verify their credibility before accepting their influence. To use liking authentically, improve how you connect with people. Listen more than you speak. Appreciate people for who they are. Notice the good and acknowledge it. Be someone who makes others feel understood. Influence grows naturally where warmth is present. To manage scarcity, breathe whenever you feel rushed. Walk away before making decisions that feel urgent. Ask yourself if you want something because it's right for you, or just because it seems rare. When you create scarcity ethically, like offering limited slots or limited time opportunities, people respond with seriousness. But when you face scarcity from others, respond with clarity, not pressure. As these actions settle into your mind, imagine how different your life becomes when you use influence with awareness. You stop being controlled by hidden forces. You stop agreeing out of fear, pressure, or confusion. You start saying yes with intention, no with confidence, and choosing with clarity. Influence becomes a tool that strengthens your relationships, your work, and your emotional balance. And now, as we reach the end of this audiobook summary, let's bring everything into a powerful emotional close. Influence is not manipulation. It is understanding. It is awareness. It is the recognition that every human being, including you, has psychological patterns that can lift or limit their life. When you learn these patterns, you gain the power to direct your own future instead of being directed by others. Every time someone tries to sway your decisions, you will now see the principle behind it. Every time you speak, teach, help, or lead, you will know how to communicate with clarity and integrity. This book is not just about persuasion. It is about reclaiming your freedom. Before we end, here are your final action steps to transform this knowledge into daily growth. Begin each day by choosing one principle to be conscious of. Notice where reciprocity shows up. Pay attention to small commitments. Observe the influence of groups around you. Strengthen your expertise. Practice warmth with people. And slow down whenever scarcity tries to rush you. Small daily awareness becomes lifelong mastery. Your life becomes more intentional. Your mind becomes clearer. And your relationships become stronger. Influence stops being something that happens to you and becomes something you understand, manage, and apply with purpose. That's the power Robert Cialdini gives you. And that's the transformation waiting for you if you take these principles seriously. That's all for today. We'll continue bringing you top book summaries that inspire change and reflection. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep transforming. Transform your thoughts. Transform your life.